Efforts are continuing by the Trump administration to dismantle the Department of Education.
Those efforts, of course, aren't coming without pushback, as U.S. teachers unions and rights advocates, including the NAACP, are now suing the administration over that dismantling.
Yeah, the lawsuit comes just days after President Trump signed an order designed to leave school policy almost entirely in the hands of states and local boards.
We're joined this morning by President of the North Carolina Association of Educators, Tamika Walker-Kelly. And Tamika, thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
So take us back to the initial announcement when the Trump administration said their plans to dismantle the Department of Education. What was the initial reaction with you and the rest of the association in North Carolina?
Well, here in North Carolina, we have been adamant about protecting the Department of Education because we know that the work that the department does impacts the students here in North Carolina. From the student who is sitting in the classroom who receives special education services to the college student who is trying to get financial aid on their way to college, we know that the work of the department makes a daily difference in the lives of North Carolina students in every classroom.
Well, so Tamika, when we talk about the work that at the federal level, the administration is saying, hey, we're going to put all the responsibility, we're going to put this in the state's hands, right? So North Carolina, in theory, would have more power to, lead all of this education. But what extra responsibilities would that put on the state? And for someone who doesn't actually know, what does the federal level do and what does the state level already do?
Well, largely education is a state work, is state rights. And so many of the functions that people assume the department does really lies with the state as far as deciding curriculum, hiring educators, and ensuring the day-to-day operations of a unified, informed public school system. The Department of Education helps to provide accountability and support for many of the programs that our students benefit from on a day-to-day basis. For example, like I talked about earlier, our special education programs are funded through federal law, but we also have college students who benefit from federal scholarships, and we also have work that comes from teacher training programs and retention programs, especially in rural areas across the state in North Carolina.
Tamika, and thank you for clarifying that, what happens at the federal and state level there. But you mentioned the programs with special needs, the funding that you get from the federal government. President Trump has said that there's not going to be worried, the funding will still come there. But have you guys heard from the federal government where that funding is going to come from now? Because I imagine there's a lot of things that need to be paid for. Has there been any word of where that money is going to come from now?
Well, a lot of what we hear from this executive order lies in the vagueness of the language. There is very much uncertainty about what happens to the federal funding that will come to the states or supposed to come to the states in order to maintain the operation of these programs. And I just want to note that the education of our students here in North Carolina and across the nation are not simply add-on programs that go to other departments in the federal government. We want to ensure that every student in North Carolina gets a high-quality public education. And so that is the work of the department, to support states in maintaining a public education system that every single student can benefit from so that our students can thrive in whatever path they choose in life, whether it be career or college.
Tamika, have there been talks with the state superintendent, Mo Green, about, if more responsibility is being handed back to the state? Maybe these are some areas where we used to get federal funding. Now we're just going to have to come up with ways to either raise more support, to be more accountable. Like, we're going to have to be responsible for this on our own. Has there been any steps put in place in conversations with Mo Green on that?
Well, we have communicated with our state superintendent about the additional work the state will have to take on in order to fulfill the gaps if we lose federal funding through the Department of Education. And so it will not only take the work of the Department of Public Instruction here in North Carolina, but it will also take public school allies, public school parents, and public school educators to push the state legislature to do more in a state where we are already underfunding public schools.
All right, Tamika Walker-Kelly with the North Carolina Association of Educators. Thank you so much for joining us to kind of break down a topic that's pretty complex to understand for a lot of people at home. So we appreciate that.
Thank you for having me today.